In the brutal podcast system, any jackass with a microphone and internet connection can pose as an expert on any topic under the sun. Fortunately, however, there exists a humble duo of said jackasses who at least aspire to minimize the effects of the current egregious level of aforementioned fake-ass horseshit and those who perpetrate it. This duo attempts this very noble task by allowing you, the listener, to have total unimpeded access to the real minutia of their pathetic everyday lives. This two-member task force is known deep within the podcast world as Zero Front. These are their stories.
Welcome into another edition of Zero Front. I'm here, Joe's here, we're ready to talk, and let's go, Joe. How you doing today?
Not bad, man. It's Friday, but it's kind of gloomy today, but everything's relative. Those beautiful, crisp, clear, sunny days wouldn't be crisp, clear, sunny days without days like this. But you know what? It doesn't affect my mood. We're upright, we're vertical, we're healthy. You know what I'm saying? It's that old thing. We're not in a hospital anywhere. Count our blessings. The reason I'm saying that, I was just in Wawa earlier today, and I said to a young cat, was talking about this and that, and I said, "Man, we're not in a hospital." You know what I mean? Then I gave him the shoes and the crying about the feet. Saw a man with no feet and everything. He's like, "Yeah, no, man." He's like, "Yeah, no, that's real. That's real shit right there. That's real." It's like, "Yeah, that's it." So, how's that for a lengthy response? But that's okay. But I'm doing good, Shawnee. How about you, man?
Good, man. Ready for the football game Sunday. We're gonna get into that a little bit later.
A
We're
little
gonna talk
later,
some
yeah.
football. It looks
Yeah.
like it's the Ravens, Chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
49ers, Lions, and I don't know. Everyone thinks we're gonna get into this later, but here's a little preview for you. Everyone thinks that it's just gonna be the Ravens and the 49ers. That's everyone I talked to have kind of said the same thing. Um, but we'll get into it. But I would not be surprised if
Preach,
uh
preach. I'm listening.
if it's a Chiefs Lions. I would not be surprised.
Oh, no, no, no. No. See, I would be surprised if the Chiefs made it in, because they're not what they used to be. And yeah, they won the Super Bowl last year because we got robbed out of a play there at the end or whatever, however you want to do. But the Ravens are really, really clearly a bully. But I'm looking at the other thing. I'm looking at that other thing. What I'm expecting, and I can call it now what I expect. I think the Lions are put together better than the 49ers. And if that one joker Debo doesn't play, it's all but a wrap.
No,
The
Debo's playing.
He's going to play, but I'm going to tell you something. With that shoulder the way it is, a couple of good licks on him, and don't think they're not going to go after him. A couple of good licks on him, and he's back in the tent. So I like I like the Lions. I just think they're a team of destiny.
Yeah,
And you
so
know
let's
what?
talk about it. We'll talk
Yeah.
about it a little bit later.
Mhm.
Toward the end of the show, we're gonna finish with
Yeah.
football probably.
Yeah. You got me started there, but it's hard to stop. But you're right. We'll talk later about that.
Yeah, so
Hey man,
yeah, it was
have you
weird.
seen any movies lately? Any decent movies,
Yeah,
man?
I saw a movie tonight, a foreign language film called The Zone of Interest, and it was boring. It was boring. The reviews are really good. It's one of those movies that's like everyone's like, "Oh my God, that was just so the cinematography, it was a period piece. They did so well, and this and that." It's an okay movie. I wouldn't hype it up the way they've been hyping it up, but it's essentially about Auschwitz and a family who lives in like a farm right on the border of Auschwitz, and they just kind of show them living a normal life and working on their farm, and they don't really show a lot of the Jewish people being tortured and humiliated in the camp. They don't
Right.
really get into that. They have a couple things that like allude to it. Like you'll hear like someone screaming, or they'll show a couple things to
Oh, I
show you
heard
that
stuff about that. Yeah.
it's kind of like dark. It's kind of like, it's like it's a normal movie, but then they'll have like a darkness, a weird like horror type theme to it, and the screen turns like red. Like they have
Right.
little ominous themes to it, but honestly, I didn't think it was I don't know, it's kind of boring to me, but I would give it a 6.1. 6.1. It's a respectable. It's a quality movie. It just was really boring. And the combination, I have to read the whole time, read the subtitles. It's not fun. But
Well, Shawnee, I saw a little clip of that on a like a commercial. Well, not a commercial. Someone was on a talk show, and I saw like a 30-second clip of it. But what they talked about was this family, this typical family, Germany and upper class, and had a nice place, swimming pool, and nice house, and they had this place. They're like a normal Saturday, you would think, like cookout stuff, having a nice time, and literally hundreds of feet literally hundreds of feet is what they implied from, like 800, 900 feet away through the woods. There was Auschwitz. It's was one of the most horrifying places that ever existed, right? And the
yeah,
stuff that went on there was unconscionable, Shawnee. But these folks, it was just wanted to show you the dichotomy that they're that close to it. And they're out having fun, cooking hot dogs, having fun, and people are being
yeah, that's like the whole
murdered.
that's the center of the whole theme of the movie.
The
The father
dichotomy, right?
the father of the family is a really high ranking officer in the Nazis.
Oh,
Um,
right.
and they don't really show him doing anything heinous. I think they try to make it seem like, okay, like, they're normal people, they have normal families, and when they're not, doing all this stuff to the Jewish people in the camps, they're living normal lives and stuff. But
Yeah. It's
um,
the other side of the
it's kind of
coin,
like
which I think is interesting. Yeah.
the premise is interesting, but the movie's almost 2 hours long and nothing crazy happens.
Right.
There's no like climax or anything. It's just like kind of like, showing the family, and they kind of they kind of show some things where like one of the girls in the family, they don't really show who it was, at nighttime was going and sneaking apples and fresh produce from the farm
Oh,
into the
oh,
camp for the Jewish people,
oh.
but they don't actually they don't actually go into like it doesn't really turn into anything else. It just they kind of show that just to kind of show like I don't
That's
know.
cool. It's cool
Anyway,
because Nazi Germany, Shawnee, take your time, baby. Take your time. Relax. Nazi Germany has been beat to death. Now, we can't never forget, but in films and everything, we know the horrors that went on there, but it's been beat to death so much that they really wanted to show you this other side. Like, yeah, this guy's done. And he drives about maybe, a half a mile and he goes home and he could give a rat's ass about what he's done. That's kind of the thing where how these guys were just so they call it moral exclusion. They're like, how in the world could you do this to people? But if I don't consider you a person, I'm not killing a person. I'm killing a cockroach. The same thing with Rwanda, all these mass genocides. They investigate how is a human being capable of doing this to another human being? It's called moral exclusion. And it's like, no, I could never kill another person, but that's a fucking cockroach. No, that's not me talking.
yeah, I mean,
That's the mindset. And that's how sickening and horrible and freak it just uncomfortable is. But I think the idea behind this movie was very clever, but I'll let you speak. Go ahead.
yeah, like I'm this has always been a topic that's kind of interested me, like, how the Nazis, like, how do they separate what they're doing from like
Hmm.
their real lives and stuff like that. And I read a whole book on it. I forgot the name of it, but it's like they kind of just like go into the psychiatrist interviews Nazi officers after the whole war is over,
Yeah.
and they kind of just like break them down and try to like figure out what was going on in their mind, and are they like inherently evil? And a lot of times they're just like, no, they're just following orders, and it became like
Hmm.
part of their normal lives. But anyway, let's not talk too much about the Nazis or anything like that.
That's
The,
fine.
sh- you asked me about the movie. The movie was okay. I gave it a 6.1. Kind of boring. Plus subtitles, got to read the whole time. And then I saw another movie the other day called ISS. It was about Russian and American astronauts being in space, and they both get a message saying that Russia and America are at war. So the Russians think that they have to take over the ship at any cost and kill the Americans. The Americans think they have to take over the ship at any cost and kill all the Russians. It kind of becomes like a tense type of thriller type of movie, but I didn't think it could have been a lot more than what it was. I give that movie a 5.7. It wasn't anything great.
Yeah, it would
So
have
those are
probably
those
done
are
a lot better in 1986 too, during the height of all that, but go ahead.
well, it's
During,
still interesting because
it's still interesting. Yeah, yeah,
there's still a race for space, and there's still the Russian US astronauts and what's going on. Like the idea
yeah.
makes sense. Like, they could be in space and they could get a message from Earth saying their countries are at war. So now they have to like stop working together, and like they have to like kill each other. Like I understand the premise, but the movie could have been a lot more, you know what I mean? But
Oh, well, was the
anyway,
movie set in like the mid 80s or was it set in
no,
current
no, this is
current
a
day?
pretty
Oh,
modern movie,
current modern
man.
day. That's okay.
Pretty
That's
sure,
what I
yeah.
wanted to know. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so then I saw another thing, man, that like There's something called the Forensic Anthropology Research Facility called FARF, and people who donate their bodies to science and stuff and dead bodies, there's a whole farm full of dead bodies. And you can see like an aerial picture of just like dead bodies like in the ground that are like decomposing. And they study of how, how long it takes the body to decompose, what happens when you put they basically study dead bodies, but it's a farm full of dead bodies. So someone found out like they wanted to know what happened to like their parent who died, who like their body was donated to science, and they discovered it was on like a farm, just kind of like decomposing in the ground. So they're kind of like, yeah,
That's
little upset.
it's just a little bit, yeah. If you agree to something, if you agree to something like that and then it's violated to that extent, yeah, that is nasty.
Well, it's not, I don't think it was violated. I think that was the whole part of the thing. You donate to science and they're going to put it on a farm and study it. You know what I mean? They're going to do all
Oh,
sorts of
okay.
things to that
Well, see,
body.
yeah, see, when I think of donating your body to science, I guess I got it a little bit wrong. My picture is you donate a loved one's body to science for like a medical, for a different type of maybe an autopsy for this or that. But I never thought you don't really think it's going to be laying out in the dirt, like you know. Just I don't know. Anyway, let me ask you this question because you're the movie guy here. The movie with Kaylee Cuoco. Um, is that her name? I just love that girl from what you call from with what's the
Is
name of
she,
it?
is she in Big Bang? What's she in?
Yeah, The Big Bang Theory. Jeez, I don't know. Maybe it's old age setting in here, but The Big Bang Theory, the Kelly Cuoco, the actress, I saw she's playing like an assassin or something, which is funny. It's dark comedy. Did you see that movie?
Oh, I think it's called Role Play. I think I saw her on a late night show recently. I think it was Kimmel or Fallon. Those are the two ones I pretty much watch religiously.
Right.
Kimmel's number one that I watched number one, and then Fallon's in my rotation too. But she was on one of those shows, and I don't know. I think it's a movie that went straight to Amazon.
Really?
I don't think it was actually in the movies, but I guess you saw something with her. You
Well,
saw it as a
I think
preview.
I may have seen the same show that you did. It was one of the late night shows or whatever, and it just looked like it looked like
That's
a
what you
cool.
probably saw. Yeah, you probably saw the same thing I did. You
I was
probably,
just wondering. I said, I wonder if Shawnee saw that because that's me. I'm not a big movie guy, but I would go see that like some Saturday if we're not doing any damn thing. I would go
yeah,
see that because I dig her too. But it looks funny too. It looks the whole premise of, and her husband doesn't know she's a anyway. It's
yeah.
funny.
Joe? Do you know what a Stanley tumbler is?
Stanley Tumbler? No, sir. I do
Okay,
not know.
so I'm surprised. They're like these really expensive like water bottles that are like made out of like titanium or some crazy like material that's like indestructible. Like some lady had a Stanley tumbler in her car and the car burnt, and the only thing that survived was the Stanley tumbler and it was in perfect condition. So Stanley Tumblers like bought her another car, but that's not the point. The whole point is Stanley Tumblers are extremely expensive and they're really popular right now. Like I would never spend my money on one of those. They just seem like I don't really use those water bottles that much anyway. But kids in school are getting bullied apparently if they don't have their own Stanley Tumbler. So I think that's kind of sad, man.
It is kind of sad, Shawnee. And when we were kids, I didn't do it. Even as a kid, I knew I didn't do it. But some of us had either Chuck Taylor Converse or Pro Keds, which were like real sneakers, or some of the kids whose parents didn't have money, they would get these things that were knockoffs and they were plasticky and they weren't real rubber on the bottom, and we used to call them Bobos. Because they were, I don't know, I just got the name Bobos, like cheap sneakers. But I never busted on a kid for something like that, man. But the other kids did. And when you're a kid, sometimes too, when you're 9, 10, 11, you really don't get the gravity of what the hell you're doing a lot of times. But, it's not till you get a little older and, I say, damn, because but I said and did some other things that weren't like, not really egregious, but stuff that, like, I look back and say, damn. I shouldn't have said, but I said, you know what? You were 10 years old. You didn't know this and that, but I never did anything that nasty, like, you know. But anyway, oh, I wanted to ask you this thing with Taylor Swift, who hopefully we won't have to see any longer past Saturday. But Taylor Swift, I mean, from in her red jacket and all the bullshit. I don't even think she knows what the hell she's watching. But anyway, AI, there was some kind of AI pictures of her floating around today or something. I mean, what are we getting to? What are we coming to in society when you can generate an image of someone doing this or that. And it's a rough
Yeah,
deal. I was wondering.
that's a, you got me thinking because yeah, she's obviously very mad. She's gonna be suing people. I get
I don't
that.
blame her. I don't blame
But
her.
apparently it's been happening in high schools. People are um
Yeah.
generating pictures of like their fellow classmates in high schools and like
Oh,
pornographic stuff and like it's causing a lot of problems. Like they have to like kick people out of school. People are committing suicide. People are like really upset over this. Like it's like 'cause they know it like people can't tell the difference. Like they think it's them, but like they're trying to say it's not, it's AI, it's not me, but people still think that other people think that they saw them having sex and they're naked, so it's causing them a lot of stress.
well,
So AI is being used as a weapon. So we got to be
yeah.
careful with this stuff,
But
man.
not only that, Sean, even if you understand and come to the realization, well, that's not really such and such, it just looks like them, it's still pretty damn, you know, rough. You know what I mean? It's still pretty damn embarrassing for the person that it happens to. Even though if even if you're watching something, you know that it's an AI, but damn, it looks close enough to them. Wow, it's funny. Look at them doing whatever. I just think that some things should be. I mean, look, some things should be. And even stars who make, you know, unbelievable amounts of money, I think should be. I don't think this should quote unquote go with the falls with the territory stuff. I think the autograph stuff and all that kind of that goes with the territory. But this is above him. This is beyond. And I don't blame the girl for being um, upset. And I was just wondering though, where are we going with this AI shit?
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
did you see Taylor Swift was at the Chiefs game on Sunday and Jason Kelsey, Travis's brother,
yeah, I saw.
Jason plays for the Eagles obviously, but he's retiring, but he was in the booth and he was really drunk and he had his shirt off, but anyway, some little girls, a Taylor Swift fan had like a sign or something like that and he went and picked her up and picked her up and showed her Taylor Swift in the booth. And everyone's saying, "Oh, that was so cool, Jason Kelsey." But then there's people out there saying that they noticed that Taylor Swift never got up and approached the window and said hi to the little girl. She just kind of like sat there and waved. Do you think that Taylor Swift should have got up? Do you think that was kind of like rude of her? Or do you think that was fine that just sitting there waving?
I think either or. If it were me, I would, and a kid wanted to see me that bad, and I knew that if I had her celebrity, I would probably go up and then put my hand on the glass. But then where does it stop? It's like, oh, bring her around. Come on. Yeah, it's like, what are you going to, I don't know. I don't know. I think waving through the glass like that, you know what I mean? And she could have even like did something like blow her a little kiss or something with her hand, like her hand, whatever, do something like that. But I think it was adequate. I hear about stars dissing people, but
Well, I was
I
thinking
don't
this. I was
consider
like,
this
she
really.
might have been
That's not really
thinking
good.
if she went to the window, maybe it would draw more attention and cause like a sideshow like circus where
Right.
people in the crowd would start like just going swarming towards the window and get out of control. So maybe Taylor's team was like, just sit in your seat, don't get up, or I don't know, but
Yeah, I think it was cool. I mean, the whole thing. Look, she didn't have to be up there in the first place. Kelsey did a good thing. I thought he was acting. Listen, I, I don't know. Sometimes he goes overboard, but anyway, that I thought was that whole thing he did the other night. I thought was a little overboard. It's like, come on, cuz, come on. You're going to have to rip your shirt off. Then you're going to put a fucking Chiefs hat on. Yo, dude, come on. What the fuck you doing? But then when he picked up that little kid and he brought the kid over to the window, like you're saying, I saw that. I said, okay, I'm cool. That's the side of Jason that I like. But sometimes I think he goes overboard. Um, but
yeah,
he's
man. But
he's he's ours. He's ours. So that's whatever.
um, so I also saw another thing where these people were at a music festival a couple years ago. So someone put it on social media like met my long lost crush at a music festival a couple years ago to my long lost crush. And then the end of the video says, and it shows a 2-year-old baby. It's like this is your 2-year-old
Oh yeah,
baby.
yeah, yeah. I saw that. Yeah,
That was pretty funny, man.
yeah. That was something you
Imagine
said.
be imagine being a person out there and seeing that video and like someone just tells you you have like a kid. It's like, oh my, that's like,
Yeah, that's kind of heavy. Um, but man, listen, she went to a concert and she gave it up to a stranger at a concert. It's like, man, come on, man. Come on, baby. Come on. I mean, look, that's, I I don't know.
yeah,
I bet I just I don't I feel sorry for her a little bit, but she shook down them draws. after she just knew this guy for 4 hours or whatever. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, but you have to
So
say the same. You have to, this is a double edged. This is a, the guy did the same thing. It's a two-way street, Joe.
it is a two-way street. And okay, here we go with the double standard and this and that. Well, it's easier for women to have sex. It's a little more difficult for guys. It is. It's always easier for yeah, that joke about the little kids on the beach, 3-year-old kids on the beach, and the one kid pulls his thing down and shows his little thing, and another kid pulls his thing and shows that look what I have, and the other little kid pulls his thing and says, look what I have, and the little girl pulls her pants down and says, well, look what I have, and with this, I can get as many of those as I want. So that was a real honest to God, but that's the way it is. It's easier for women to have, to hook up than it is for guys in general. That's the way we're created. It's the way we're wired, baby. That's what it is. And I
Yeah, but
just,
it's just
it
unfair
takes
that
two to tango, but yeah, it takes two to tango. But who committed the more egregious act? I think it was her because, um, you know, it is what it is, and I
well, I don't
don't
know
give a
if
goddamn
you
about
no,
the.
if you talk to a lot of girls and talk to them about it, they have a whole different perspective. They would say that's actually really unfair.
Oh,
It's a
I
two-way
know.
street.
You see, but if she were a guy, you wouldn't say. But you're not. Okay, I'm just. I listen. I'm done with all this. It's zero front, cuz I'm just. I understand the double standard principle in most things. All I said here was it does take two to tango, and that young man is culpable for his actions. What I tried to really say is I felt so sorry for this young lady that happened to an extent. This little baby went there, and this wasn't even some guy she knew from. This is some guy she met at a concert, and they're knocking boots. Come on. So that's my opinion. I could be wrong. Oh, I don't give a goddamn who doesn't agree with it, or I don't care. That's fine. That's my opinion. I'm not saying anything bad about her. I'm just saying that I can only feel so bad for her. Now, who I really feel bad for is that little kid. So, but I hope, it looked like the kid was doing okay. There was a roof over its head and it was a clean living conditions and so forth. But no, I can just, someone asked me, if you had a son and you had a daughter, would the rules be exactly the same for each one? Like as a kid and through growing up and teenage years, would the rules be exactly the same for each one? And I said, fuck no. They just wouldn't. They just wouldn't. Sorry. So um that's what that is. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, what
Anyway, let's
yeah,
do the lyric. Let's get into the
agree
lyrics,
to
man.
disagree, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think, you're being a little too harsh because I was put in my place a couple times. I used to think the same thing. I used to think like, okay, it's more of a bigger deal for girls
Yeah.
to give it up or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Then guys just they're always saying the girl gets labeled a whore or a slut, whereas a guy never does. So it just got me thinking more. It's like, yeah, it's actually, it's a two
Oh,
it
I
takes
didn't
it
say
takes
that
two to
about her
tango,
now.
and it's
Yeah, yeah.
like it's one of those things where both made the decision to do that night. Just because
Oh
the girl
yeah.
got pregnant, just because the guy can't get pregnant doesn't make it any less, egregious. You know what I mean?
Right. And I said he's culpable. He shouldn't have done that either. Um, dude, I could just tell you as a guy, um, uh, I think once, maybe twice in my entire life, something like that. Like just someone you just met. And I'm going to tell you, it was very unfulfilling and very, it's like, didn't feel right. Just didn't, I know the stereotype is, oh, you're a dude, you should go with, I'm telling you something. It's just, anyway. I just think, now look, they were probably all tuned up and everything else, but what I'm saying is they're both responsible. They're both guilty. Okay. That takes two to tango. And I felt sorry for the young lady, but my empathy only goes so far because, come on, man. You know what I mean? Anyway, so
Yeah. Anyway, let's do the lyrics.
yeah, save me all that other stuff. I've heard it before, and I think
So
she's a great young lady. Go ahead.
the lyrics are as follows.
Mm-hmm.
And time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
it's a
Yeah.
it's a song called Unchained Melody by the Righteous Brothers. However, the original version was a 1955 song, The Righteous Brothers did a different version, a cover version in 1965. But the original version, I believe, was written for the 1955 film called Unchained, about a guy in prison who's longing for a lover who he's missed. So he can either escape from prison and live a life on the run, or he can, serve his whole term and go see the girl that he misses. So whenever I hear this song, I always get emotional. I'm like, man, it's one of those things where even if you're not yearning for like an
Oh
old
yeah.
lover or whatever like that, it just makes you emotional, and just the way they sing it, the lyrics, it's just a great song, man. Every time when I first heard this song, it was probably when I was little. It might have been when I was watching the show The Wonder Years. That show is amazing, The Wonder Years, but
Okay,
um
Shawnee, have you
I
ever
don't,
seen
I
the
don't know,
movie
but every time I hear
Ghost?
this song, I get super emotional, man.
Oh, it's a deep song. It's a beautiful piece of music, Shawnee. I think um, almost everyone's got a version of it. Like, and I think it's probably been covered so many times it's unbelievable. But if you've ever seen the movie Ghost back circa 1986, 87, Patrick Swayze, who's no longer with us, which is weird to even, every time I remember that, it's like, wow, he's really gone. Demi Moore. But it's really cool. You've had to have seen this movie, Ghost. But anyway, in the movie, they play that. And I mean, he gets killed and she doesn't know what to do, or like she's beside herself. She's in mourning and she's slugging through her days, and pottery is one of her like little hobbies. And it shows you this shot where he comes back and he's like talking to her, and she doesn't even acknowledge that he's there. And then he's yelling, "I'm here, I'm here." And then he realizes, oh shit, I'm 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 not human anymore. She can't see me. I'm a ghost. But it's really, there was one scene where she's in the pottery wheel and he comes up and puts their arms like around her from behind, and they play that song. But my head goes to that. It also goes to the Righteous Brothers. I don't know about the other people before, but I remember the Righteous Brothers thing. And the weird
And
thing
also,
is,
by the way, Joe, Elvis did a great version of it. So did you too.
yeah, I mean, like I said, Shawnee, those are just the ones that are listed. I think it's been done so many times, and it really is a beautiful song. Um,
It just came on the other day. I was listening. I had my AirPod in. I was at work. It came on. I was just like, man, this is going to be the lyric for the show. I love the song so much. It means a lot to me. It makes me super emotional. It makes me yearn for like, you know, a love. Because I haven't found a girl yet. But
well, that's
all these
okay.
emotions come up where it's just like, man, this song just makes me think of like people in the old days, and if I lived in the old days, and the way they're singing it, and the way the music sounded differently, and the way people were just a lot more um I don't know, people back in the old days where I feel like they're like it was simpler times. Now people these days are way more complex and a lot more suspicious about things, you know what I mean? It's like I don't
Yeah.
know. I just feel like that song just a list like it's tough to listen to that song and not get emotional, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is, and you and I talk about this before. We extract lyrics, we say the lyrics, we talk about the prose, the words, because it's what we want to strip that away from the music for a minute. But the music to the song is absolutely beautiful. But that's where a lot of great musicians, like say that when you marry the beautiful music to like genius words, it's so good. It's so good. So that's we want to extract the words though and look at them. But when I look at those words, Shawnee, because I told you also when you think about any song or any piece of music that you hear, you personalize some of it. I don't care what the writer intended for it to be. You could acknowledge that. But when you hear something, you get your own visions of your own experiences or your own, for whatever reason, you develop your own picture in your mind. And my picture in my mind for that song always was, because the timing is kind of right too. It's in that era, would be a soldier overseas during World War II, and soldiers would get these, what they would call them Dear John letters. Dear John letters. Like, what's wrong with Schmitty? Well, he got a Dear John letter today. Well, his name's Bill, but no, it's Dear John is a general term. When you say someone got a Dear John letter, what it meant was this soldier got a letter from his woman, his girlfriend, or whatever, and she was kind of letting him know that, hey, I'm moving on, that kind of thing. So there you are overseas, you're in the middle of a war, in this kind of thing, and you fear getting that letter. And I just thought I pictured a soldier. I always pictured a soldier over in World War II, and and he said that, like he separated from her, and time goes by so slowly. does when you're separated from your boo. You know, what I mean, it takes, it's like, you get separated for 2 weeks. Well, did you miss me? Yeah, I missed you. Well, yeah. But now, when you're separated for months on end, sometimes even longer, and then during the time of war, when you're far from home, it can work on you. So he says, and time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Time can do so much when a situation like that, the more time that goes by, the worse, right? The harder it is. Time can do so much. It can change people. It can make people do things like break up and those kind of things. So he didn't get a Dear John letter, this guy, the soldier, in my, thing, in my, view of this, but he's fearing it. Because the next line in the song is, "Are you still mine?" So, but I just, the words are fantastic. The music is fantastic, and that's a beautiful combination. But that's a classic, Sean. That's a really good choice. That's a classic, my brother.
Yeah, I didn't really get into the specific about time, but you're right. Yeah, time goes by so slowly. Time can do so much. That's because I tried to.
Mm,
I just like the whole song in general. So it's tough for me to
yeah.
isolate lyrics. I'm like, I'm gonna just choose these about the time because the time those could apply to a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be the romance.
Right, and applied to my view of the story too. The thing that I imagined as I heard it too. So that's cool.
Yeah,
And that's why we
yeah,
do
man.
that. Matter of
Yeah.
fact,
So
you ran into a woman one time that told you that she appreciated those, the lyrics and everything, and how you could take a song and do this and that. And I really like that. I like that. I dig it. You dig it. Other people dig it.
oh yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
the
it's whatever. It's right. So
was
I think right.
someone listens to our show, loves how we talk about the lyrics, and
Yes.
she had written down all these lyrics and was asking me about them. So I thought that was really touching. I was like,
Yeah,
wow,
that's
people are
it.
really listening. So anyway, what was your latest cheat meal last week? What was your I heard you got
I
one of
can't
those
remember.
things from the hut, one of the huts.
That's right. I could tell you tomorrow straight up going to be TB hard, brother, because I missed it last week. I missed it, but I wanted to miss it. I got stuffed Pizza Hut stuffed crust, pepperoni, and sausage. I didn't get meat lovers because I'm not paying extra. It's like ham's okay, and they put something. If I can get the pepperoni and sausage on there, that's really good, and the stuffed crust. And I messed around, Shawnee. I brought it home and I messed around and ate half of it. Then I thought, man, I could get a fifth slice here with ease. And I ate the fifth slice and I said, now I'm gonna fuck around and get the sixth. I ate the sixth one. I got two. I left two. I could have really thought about just go all the way. And I said, whoa, 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 Joey, you're going to get heartburn later. You know that even with Pepsi, if you go eating a whole pizza, besides you, come on, man, you're trying. You know what I mean? So I put two in my freezer. They're still there. I don't know. Eventually I'll mess around and augment some other cheat meal with them. Some here, someday here. But that's what I had last week. Tomorrow I could tell you in advance. There's no two ways about it. It's Taco Bell. And whether I get the fries or
Yeah,
not, I don't know. But I must say, and I said this before twice on the air, those fries are really, really good. I don't get them every time though. And I didn't get them as soon as you mentioned them to me. I didn't run right out the door. But like I told you when you told me, I said, I chill. I'll get to them as sooner or later. You know what I mean? It's like people were asking you, like, why doesn't Joey want to try to fry? I didn't say I wasn't going to. You just relax. I will when I get to it. Anyway, um, what else is going on, man? Um,
yeah. I was gonna say, man, Pizza Hut's really good. If you haven't had Pizza Hut in a while, it's definitely good. Because
yes.
Domino's and Papa John's are more prevalent than Pizza Hut, but yeah, Pizza Hut's definitely legit. It's just there's not enough locations, and it's not well. I don't think it's as well run a company as Domino's and Papa John's is. I mean, at least Domino's. Domino's seems to be like dominating the pizza space, the fast food pizza space. But Pizza Hut's like they're closing stores left and right. There's some stores are only I just they don't know what they're doing in terms of just like marketing themselves and just they've kind of they used to have a lot of a huge market share. They used to be super popular and the other companies like Domino's and Papa John's kind of just came into the market and took over. But I'm glad that you have a pizza Hut near you where you get to enjoy it because the pizza is still legit. I mean, I don't think they've
Oh
changed the
yeah.
recipe by that much. You know what I mean?
Right. And even the one I go to, there's like you walk in and there's like a little bit of an area with one table you can sit down and eat. Like it used to be a dining room, not this one particularly, but the ones I used to
That's
go
what.
to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I like and they even had a salad bar at one, but like a dining. That's what I would. They closed the majority, if not all, of those dining room things. So if you want Pizza Hut, you got to go pick it up. So, but
Yeah.
when I'm really itching for it, I just go pick it up.
Yeah.
That's all.
Dude, I'm watching I have the Hawks Mavericks game on here in the background, and Luka Doncic has 67 points.
How far along are you? What, third quarter, fourth quarter?
There's 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
He's got 67 points.
Yeah.
Okay. He's trying to be
So
like
didn't it
Embiid.
Joel, because we're gonna go to sports in a second, but Joel Embiid scored, didn't he score 70 like recently? Right? That was
He did score 70, and from what I understand, he told his teammates too, like, don't feed me just because of this. If you got an open shot, take it. And because he's a very unselfish player. So even being unselfish, he scored 70. He could fuck around if he wanted to and score 85 points. If I mean, but he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. But you know what? That's great. I need to see the trophy. That's all.
yeah.
You know?
What's the stone thing you sent me recently? What is the concept of the
Yeah,
concept of
yeah.
just you stare at a picture for like 5 minutes? Like it used to have these when we were kids. It's like these hidden picture things. Like you stare at it and like you slowly like move your eyes away from it. You could see like a hidden picture inside of it. But like
Oh no, no, this isn't that. I know what you're talking about. Like
the
if you
one that
look
you
at,
sent me was like some stone thing. You got to stare at it. You said you stared at it for like 10 minutes before you got it, right?
yeah, I read that. I felt kind of weird. And then I read the bottom. There's some lady because this was forwarded, right? It was on Instagram. The lady at the bottom says, I've been staring at this for an hour. I finally got it. So I didn't feel too bad because it's really weird. It's just one of those things, Shoni. The first time I saw anything like this was in the late 70s, like, 77, 78. Um, it was during it was, just a time where it was a Jesus boom, and all these groups started coming. And there was this little card that went around. And it was these folks, and they had this card and they like, look at this card. And the card said, what do you see? And you can looking at this and looking at this. I say, I don't know. I see a bunch of weird shapes and this and that. I don't really say it. Then all of a sudden, how Jesus in block letters was written, but it wasn't written, conspicuously. It was kind of inconspicuous, right? And then once your eyes got it, it got it. Well, that pile of rocks that I sent you, that picture of a pile of rocks that I sent you, it's really weird because I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm looking. And I know these things are weird, and you just have to, sometimes you have to you can't see the forest through the trees, so to speak. In other words, you can't sit on the edge of the woods and look deep into the woods and like right in front of you, right here, the trees, right here, right. Once you see it, it's like, wow, how could I not see that? It's popping right out at me. And that one has a little. It's saying it's 4 or 5 words. Well, let me count them. There's 7 words there, in that thing, and it's all just right across. It's block lit. It's all capital, like written one, two, the whole. But you can't see it at first. Most people can't see it at first, and don't feel bad, Shirley. I've sent it to a couple of people that still haven't gotten back to me. Like it's been a day or two. Like they got back to me like, are there any other hints here? Or I don't see anything. And one person said, "Oh, I see a mother holding a baby with a question mark." I'm saying, nah, nah, nah.
So just
But
to clarify, what exactly was written?
well, okay. It says there's a big pile of rocks, right? It says the stones will cry out to you! Exclamation point.
Okay. Yeah. So all right, man.
So that's cool. But I love those little
Look at
things where you can't, you look at it and you can't see anything. There was a thing, I'm not to cut you off, Sean, but there was a thing going around about a year or two ago, and it was this girl's dress. And it says, do you see gold or you see blue? And half the people said, I see gold, plain as day. And the other half the people said, no, I see blue. What the hell are you talking about? I don't know if you remember that one, but it's similar to that. I love those things. But I got a couple of pet peeves, but I can, if you want me to wait till after, or you want me
yeah,
to.
just do because I was just gonna comment because Luka Doncic he just hit 70 points. So
Well, he's another great player, right?
yeah,
They're
he's
they're great
amazing.
players.
Luka Doncic is
Look at
incredible.
Doncic.
Let's
Yeah.
do let's do one of your pet peeves.
Well, one of my pet peeves is just misspoken words. Um, and you know what? We'll do misspoken words and then we'll leave. Misspoken words. The word supposedly, EDLY ending, right? How many people say supposedly, ABLY? It's not supposedly. It's
See, I think some
supposedly.
people say supposedly, like
They
I,
with the V too. They also miss yeah, exactly. It's just an ED, folks. And I'm not being. These he sounds like a jerk off. You know, I just like words to be used correct. That's all. Supposedly, okay. The next one is, and you've heard this one. And by the way, these gripes and these misuses are committed by every race, creed, color, and everybody. Okay, this is not. I don't want anybody to. No, 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 no. And you know, I love everybody. Um, um, the next one is specifically. I said specifically, not specifically. If you're listen, if you're talking about um oceans and so forth, if you're talking about the environment, and you say, well, but specifically and pacifically are two damn different things. The next one, Shawnee, is one that really irritates me because I even heard a principal of a school say this. Okay. Um, Pledge of the Allegiance. Like, okay, everyone stand for the Pledge of the Allegiance. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no Pledge of the Allegiance? And that's just the way that, no, it's pledge, three words, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag, right? Three words, not four, right? And there is no allegiance. What the fuck is that? All right. So it's Pledge of Allegiance. All right. Thank you. Um, the other thing, I guess it's coming up to, and this and that, and Valentine's Day. How many times you go, oh, I'm going to, yeah, for Valentine's. Would you, for God's sake, just put the fucking N where it's supposed to? It's not Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. Okay. The next one, ask me a question. Don't ask me shit. Ask me a question. I used to know. I had one of my girlfriends at one time in the early '90s, and she was very educated too. She was almost a dentist, but she said X. Like, oh, I asked if I could. Wait a minute, you asked? What the? No, come on now. You're smarter. You're much smarter. Ask. But this ask or ask a question, it kills me. Okay, this is another one I hear all the time. Instead of saying especially ESP, right? Especially when I go over there. Like especially like EX. No, it's not an EX word. There is no especially. It's especially, all right? The name of the store is Walmart with a T. It's not Walmart. All right? It's not Hallmark's cousin. It's not fucking Hallmark's cousin over here, Wall. All right? It's
I
Walmart,
need
not
to. I
Walmart.
gotta get some, Joe. I gotta get some drum sound effects. All these gonna have punchlines where the drum kind of takes it away.
Yeah, that's you know what, we're gonna mess around and get on that. We're gonna get on some sound effects. We're not gonna go crazy though. All right, no slide whistles. This isn't like a morning zoo, but a couple little. The last thing, Shawnee, you used this word about half an hour ago correctly. Bearings, you used it correctly. What we don't have, we have pine barrens down in South Jersey. Barrens, Barrons, right? Barrens, not pine bearings. I heard a firefighter. God bless him. He's a firefighter, and thank you for your service and all that stuff. But he was on the news, and this was like within the last month. And I'm thinking, like, well, it's not the first time I've heard people say that. Like, yeah, the pine bearings. No, it's the pine barrens. All right, barrens. Okay, and I'm almost done. Since I'm here, I'm on a roll. I'm just going to do these truncated or shortened words. Sean, some truncated or shortened words are fine. We've known them all our lives. Vet instead of veterinarian, gym instead of gymnasium, lab instead of laboratory, right? That's all fine. Ones that get on my nerves and make me want to just like absolutely just, put my hand through the wall. Someone says, let's go get some za. Well, first of all, because you just said that, I'm not going anywhere with you. Get the fuck away from me. Let's go get some za. Is it too laborious to put the PIZZ in front? I mean, I just don't get it. Or the word merch. Oh, it's too hard to finish that. Say and dice. It's too difficult. Yeah, well, it's too difficult. Merch. Oh, I'm going to get some free merch. You make me want to put my finger down my throat, is what that does. And the word, this one really, delish. It's like, oh, that was delish. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, it just irritates
Yeah, I
me to
think
no end.
when someone says they want to go get some Zaza is like isn't like a code word for like weed or something like that.
No, well, when they just say za, these are these are Yankers talking about let's go get pizza. That's short for
Then
pizza.
there's a dude who works for Barstool Sports. His name's like Za. This little guy. He's a small person.
I don't know anything about them.
Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
not talking about hey za. If you're ever listening to this sometime, no, not you, bro. Okay,
let's
you know what I'm
finish.
talking about.
Let's
All right.
finish off with some football, man.
Oh, one thing I wanted to mention real quickly to those who are listening. Before we do that, Sean, Wordle is something you turned me on to. Wordle. Wordles are really great for those who don't. It's a really great game to play online. It's fun. I look forward to it every day. It's a spelling game. And there's also another game you turned me on to, Sean, called Connections, which is a little more involved than Wordle. And it can be slightly frustrating, but it's really, really cool. And I think they're off the same thing. Aren't they off the same link or the same? Is it New
Yeah,
York?
New York Times. New York Times.
New York Times. So I just wanted to put that out there so people are listening, maybe because we don't really talk about those too much on the show, but Wordle especially, because almost everyone can do Wordle. It's just fun. And the connections, again, cool as hell. But okay, now you want to talk sports? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah, let's talk some sports, man.
Okay.
Um, basically, there are two big football games on Sunday. Those two football games will determine who gets to the Super Bowl. So my question for you, Joey Thurman, co-host of Zero Front, is what are your predictions for the games?
This is what
Joe,
I want. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I'm just trying. You're asking me. I have to spin it a little bit in my head. What I want with this one is, and I think it's going to be what happens also. I do think the Ravens are going to be because they're home. They're a better football team. I know that number 15 on the Chiefs is a hell of a football player, and you can never count him out. But I think I like the Ravens to beat the Chiefs. I do. Um, I
yeah,
think
The Ravens are favored by 4 points currently, and they're the home team.
Yeah, and I just think I really think they're much better. I don't see. I think that's a hell of a defense they have, right? So who was it that the Chiefs beat last week? I don't even know who the hell it was. It was
Bills, man.
the Bills. Now, the Bills defense is not a strong defense against the run, hasn't been. Even when they're healthy, they're not that strong against the run, and they're not healthy. They were a mash unit. They were missing at least four starters from what I heard and what I saw. And they're not, like I said, even when they're totally healthy, they're not a great defensive team. This Ravens team, oh, they got some rough riders over there, bro. This is a whole different ball game. So, and it wasn't that easy all day long last week for Mahomes and them to move the ball against that anemic Bills defense. It's going to be a whole different. It's going to be a whole different can of worms this to move the ball. And can Lamar and those folks move the ball against a Chiefs defense who, yeah, is improved, but they're not all that great. That secondaries can be had. And now Lamar's got some targets. He's got some targets to throw the ball to, and they're at home. I just like them. The other game, I would like the Lions to beat the 49ers because as an Eagle fan, the 49ers are up on my list now of real rivals. Um, I don't like those fucking jerks. I really don't because we kicked the shit out of them last year in the NFC title game, mainly because their quarterback got knocked out. But how did the quarterback get knocked out? Their guy didn't block our guy, and our guy knocked the living daylights out of him, and it knocked them out of the game. So don't blame us that you can't block. That's part of football. You were weak all day long because you weren't good enough to block our guy from hitting your guy. So don't bitch and moan. And then all after that game and all off season, they're chirping, saying bad things. And okay, and they came up in here when this thing was starting to leak oil anyway this year. You know what I mean? And it was starting to leak oil. Um, they weren't better than us last year. They were better than us 2 months ago when they were here, but it's a whole different football team. Last year, that football team was beating them as Steve Young was the quarterback. Okay, we were still winning that game. So, but and you got some guys on that that team that really chirped and said a lot of really stuff that they really didn't have to. So yeah, the 49ers and the Cowboys um, are up on my list. The Giants and the Redskins, they're always going to be the Redskins to me. The Giants and the Redskins aren't really good enough to have that kind of venom toward like lately. But if they get good, they'll be rivals.
All right, so
Um,
your prediction.
my prediction is I'm going to predict because it's what I want. I'm going to predict the Lions to go in there and beat that team. I think the Lions are a more complete team. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I think they can go in there and beat them. And I think Purdy folds under pressure. I could be wrong. He could light it up. Yeah, I don't know, but I think he's going to fold under pressure. And I think the 49ers showed some weaknesses last week. And
All right, so your prediction is the
yeah,
Ravens versus the Lions.
yeah.
All right,
Ravens and Lions, and ultimately the Ravens are a better ball club.
so
But I
I
wouldn't
think
mind
that
seeing
the
the Lions
Taylor
win.
Swift, Travis Kelsey storyline is just too big to deny and too big for the NFL just to shut down. The idea of having Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl cheering on her man is it's like,
It's
if you think the
nauseating.
NFL, some people think the NFL is scripted sometimes because it's like, wow, that just seems scripted, but I don't think it's scripted, but a lot of stuff happens. It's like, I don't know. My point is, I think the Chiefs beat the Ravens. I just think, I just can't see Lamar Jackson getting it done. Mahomes is a better quarterback. Mahomes is a true winner. He's been there before. He's proven himself. I just think Andy Reid, you know what I mean, over Harbaugh.
Yeah, you make a case. I mean, I can't say you
I just
don't.
think the whole Taylor Swift Kelsey thing is going to be having her at the Super Bowl is going to be insane. Um,
Oh, she's going to go there to watch the Ravens and Lions? That's cool.
um, so I predict the Chiefs win. I'm saying the Chiefs win 34 to 27. And I think the Lions, um, I think the 49ers, I don't know. I think I know what you're saying. It's easy to see how like Purdy can fold and everything like that. The
Hmm.
fact that Debo Samuel's playing and McCaffrey's just amazing. And I could also see the storyline where like the Lions, you never won a Super Bowl before and then making it. But I could also, I don't know, man. I just think
It might be a lot for them.
it's
It
tough,
might be.
man.
Yeah, it
It's
might be
tough.
a lot for them.
I,
And
I think I think the 49ers are going to win. So I think it's going to be 49ers Chiefs, to be honest with you. And I think the 49ers win the game. I think they beat the Lions um 30 38 to 24.
okay, so I got the flip side of that coin. So I got the Lions and the Ravens, and I got that at I got that at 27-13 Ravens.
What are you talking about? You're already predicting the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
It,
do we got we're gonna let's
oh,
we don't
okay. All right. You want me to predict? Okay. Okay.
well,
So the
wait,
games this.
we don't know when our next show is going to be, but it might be before the Super Bowl. We don't have to do a Super Bowl prediction now, dude. That's,
No, it's probably not going to be. But go ahead. So that's all. That's okay. So you want me
so
to
you're
you want me to
saying
predict?
there's going to be no zero fronts before the Super. When's the Super Bowl? Isn't it like 3 weeks away, man?
Yeah, that's only 3 weeks away.
So what are you going on a vacation? I don't know
What
about.
the fuck you? What do you want to start? What are we doing? Two a week or something? This is
Well, this is 3 weeks from
okay.
now.
So let me just do listen. This is a conversation for another time, right? You go looking for another show before that. It's 50-50, right? So anyway, let me just get to this week. Who was playing the Niners or playing the Lions? Okay, I'm going to say Lions. Wait a minute, what the fuck are we going a different? Did something happen? The Lions are going in there. It's going to be Purdy's going to Debo's not going to be in the game long. So I hear he's playing. He's not going to be playing long. He's going to be leaving the game, guys. Um, and if he is playing, he's not going to be that effective. He's got a real shoulder issue there, dude. So I'm going to say it's physical, it's tough, okay, and they both teams can run. I'm going to say it's going to be um, 24-20. Lions. In the early game, I'm going to say, believe it or not, I'm going to say the Ravens are going to take this thing and they are going to, the Ravens are going to score 34 points and the Chiefs will score 20. So 34-20 for that game. And I just told you about the other one. But these are just for fun, so it doesn't matter. I can predict
Yeah, I don't
next
know.
year's Super Bowl too if you want.
I'll be honest with you. Part of me is like, yeah, the Ravens could probably win, but the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey storyline is just too much to just like, for the NFL just to not have that. I don't know. Just the idea of that storyline playing out for the Super Bowl to me is, and I could be dead wrong. We could be doing a show, like
We
we're gonna
both
do a
could be dead
show.
wrong.
We're doing a show
One of
next
us
week.
is
But
going to be
I'm
dead
just
wrong.
messing
Yeah.
with you. Yeah. So we have our different predictions, but it's gonna be fun, man. Sunday's gonna be a cool time, man. I'm excited for Sunday. Football is gonna be fun to watch, and yeah, man. So yeah, the name of the show is obviously Zero Front now. I don't know if anybody saw our new logo. We got a new logo up. We might be coming out with some t-shirts. We might be giving out some t-shirts for a promotion. But yeah, big things ahead. Another good show, Joe. I'm happy you're my co-host. Just
Thank you.
appreciate you. I have to say that time and again. You got to say it. You got to remind your co-hosts you appreciate them. Um,
Likewise.
yeah, man. We got any closing words?
Sure. Leave the loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quote the raven, nevermore. Good night.
Take care, everyone.